Welcome back to our channel, drama lovers. If you're hooked on jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and redemption, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Today, we're diving into a heart-wrenching story from Asheville, North Carolina, where a brewery owner's world crumbles when he uncovers his wife's affair. But that's just the start. Her lies spark a $450,000 conspiracy that threatens his family and legacy. With his daughter's courage and his son's shocking secret, one man fights for justice in a courtroom showdown that'll leave you speechless. Can he reclaim his life and heal the scars? Let's jump into this gripping saga of love, deceit, and triumph. Miles Thornton leaned against the oak bar of Blue Ridge Brews, Asheville's crown jewel, the air thick with the yeasty tang of fermenting hops and the hum of patrons savoring his latest IPA. At 42, Miles had transformed his parents' modest brewery into a North Carolina legend, his obsessive precision ensuring every pint was a masterpiece. His life, too, seemed a carefully brewed blend. A cedar-shingled craftsman home in Biltmore Forest, its wraparound porch overlooking misty Blue Ridge peaks. A 16-year marriage to Clara, an art curator whose River Arts District gallery openings drew Asheville's elite, and 2 children poised for greatness, Jasper, 20, a business major at UNC Chapel Hill with his father's analytical mind, and Lila, 18, a painter at SCAD in Savannah, her mother's creative spark in her brushstrokes. Yet, in October 2023, the harmony soured. Clara's warmth faded, her late-night gallery meeting stretching past midnight, her hazel eyes dodging his with a chill that prickled his skin. Miles, ever trusting, chalked it up to his own grueling schedule. 60-hour weeks balancing brewing, marketing, and a looming Raleigh expansion. On a rain-soaked Thursday, Miles hunched over his office desk, finalizing a pitch for Blue Ridge Brews to anchor Raleigh's craft beer scene, a $2 million deal that narrowly outbid Peak Pulse, the marketing firm run by his older brother, Wade. At 45, Wade was all charisma, his slick suits and easy grin masking a lifelong envy of Miles's success. Their parents, Henry and Nora, who'd founded Blue Ridge Brews in 1985, trusted Miles's steady leadership over Wade's flashy pitches, a preference that had carved a chasm between the brothers. Wade's loss on the Raleigh bid stung, his congratulatory call last week laced with venom. "You always get the spotlight, don't you, little brother?" As Miles saved his presentation, his assistant Tessa poked her head in, her auburn curls damp from the drizzle. "Clara called. She reminded you about the Harvest Festival at your parents' place this weekend. Jasper and Lila are both coming." Miles's face softened. Jasper had texted earlier, planning to arrive Friday night to surprise Clara, a rare family moment amid their hectic lives. Miles locked the brewery, the neon Blue Ridge Brews sign flickering in the fog, and climbed into his 2015 Ford F-150, its dashboard cluttered with Lila's old sketch pads and Jasper's dog-eared business textbooks. As he navigated Asheville's slick streets, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "She's not who you think. Check the Airbnb footage from last weekend. I'm so sorry." His pulse spiked, knuckles whitening on the wheel. The Airbnb, a rustic cabin in Black Mountain Clara had rented for a year as her creative sanctuary, was her untouchable domain. She'd begged for solitude there, claiming it fueled her art, and Miles, respecting her passion, never pried, even as her absences grew frequent. The text's words seared his mind, a warning he couldn't ignore. At home, the house was dark, Clara's Prius gone, another curator dinner, per her vague calendar note. Miles stormed to his home office, heart-pounding, and logged into the brewery's security portal, which included the Airbnb's exterior cameras for insurance compliance. His fingers trembled as he pulled up last Saturday's footage. At 3:12 p.m., Wade's silver Tesla Model S rolled into the cabin's gravel drive, its sleek frame unmistakable. The car stayed until 7:48 p.m. Miles scrolled back, similar visits stretched back 8 months, each timestamp a stab to his chest. Wade, his brother, with Clara, his wife. The betrayal wasn't just a wound, it was a wildfire scorching every memory of their shared life. Clara's hand in his at last month's beer festival, Wade's arm around him at a family barbecue, their laughter now a mocking echo. Miles' phone rang, shattering the silence. It was Henry, his father, voice taut with an unfamiliar edge. Miles, we need to meet before the festival. It's urgent, about the brewery's direction. Miles' throat tightened, sensing a deeper threat. Tomorrow, Dad. I'm tied up. He hung up, his mind racing. This wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated strike. He dialed Quinn Adler, a private investigator who'd vetted brewery suppliers for fraud. Quinn, I need you to dig into Clara and Wade. Texts, emails, bank accounts, travel, everything. Start now. Next, he called Owen Pratt, his attorney since the brewery's incorporation. Owen, draft divorce papers for Clara but hold off filing, and run a full audit of my personal assets, separate from Blue Ridge Brews. I want it airtight. Owen's voice was cautious. Trouble at home, Miles? No, Miles said, ice in his tone. Just covering my bases. Driving to his parents' Montfort estate, rain lashed the windshield, blurring Asheville's arts and crafts bungalows. Miles' mind churned, replaying Clara's excuses, her late meetings, her insistence on the Airbnb's privacy, her distant kisses. Wade's smug grin at family dinners, his friendly jabs about Miles's workaholism, now reeked of malice. The life Miles had built, his brewery empire, his family's love, his trust in those closest, was a house of cards, and someone had just yanked the foundation. At the estate, Nora greeted him, her silver hair pulled tight, her hug perfunctory. Your father's in the study, dear. He's been tense all day. Henry, 68, stood by a crackling fireplace, bourbon glinting in his glass, his weathered face etched with unease. Miles, we're reconsidering the brewery's leadership. Wade's raised concerns about your Raleigh plan, says it's reckless, that you're spread too thin. Miles' fists clenched, nails biting his palms. My projections are rock solid, Dad. We're up 15% this quarter. Henry swirled his drink, avoiding Miles's gaze. Wade's got data, cost overruns, supplier issues. Investors are jittery, and frankly, son, you've seemed distracted. The words landed like a sledgehammer. Wade wasn't just stealing his wife. He was poisoning the family legacy Miles had nurtured. The Harvest Festival, a Thornton tradition drawing Asheville's beer enthusiasts, loomed as a battleground. Miles saw Clara's hand in this, her whispered influence over Henry, her alliance with Wade to dismantle his life. Back in his truck, Miles texted Quinn. Priority 1, I need dirt by Saturday. He stared at the brewery's logo glowing downtown, a beacon of his life's work now tainted by deceit. Clara's betrayal was personal, a dagger to his heart, but Wade's ambition was a guillotine aimed at his legacy. Miles, the brewer who perfected every recipe, now faced a bitter blend of lies. He shifted gears, his resolve hardening like steel. Whatever Clara and Wade were planning, he'd expose it, dismantle it, and rebuild stronger. The festival was 2 days away, and Miles Thornton was ready to fight for his truth, one calculated step at a time. The Montfort Estate's dining room glowed with candlelight, crystal glasses catching the flicker as Henry Thornton raised a toast to the Harvest Festival, Asheville's annual ode to craft beer and community. Miles sat rigid, Clara's empty chair beside him a silent accusation she'd texted about a last-minute gallery crisis, her absence screaming louder than words. Wade, across the table, flashed a politician's smile, his tailored blazer brushing Nora's arm as he poured her wine. Jasper and Lila, home from college, flanked Miles, their chatter about campus life, masking the undercurrent of dread coiling in his gut. Henry's words from yesterday, Wade's got data, investors are jittery, echoed, a warning of a storm brewing beyond Clara's betrayal. Miles sipped his stout, its bitterness mirroring his mood, as Nora leaned in, her pearl earrings glinting. Miles, Wade mentioned you've been missing supplier meetings. Is everything all right at home? Her tone, syrupy with concern, felt like a trap. Miles forced a smile. All good, Mom. Just focused on Raleigh. Wade chuckled, swirling his glass. Focused or obsessed? That expansion's a gamble, brother. We can't afford mistakes. The jab landed, and Miles caught Lila's quick glance at Wade, her hazel eyes, Clara's eyes, flickering with something unreadable. Jasper, oblivious, rambled about a brewery internship. But Miles's mind raced. Wade's data wasn't just a critique, it was a weapon. After dinner, Henry led Miles to the study, its mahogany shelves heavy with brewery awards Miles had earned. Henry shut the door, his face grim. "Son, we're making changes at Blue Ridge Brews. Wade's convinced the board your Raleigh plan's a liability, over budget, rushed. He's got projections showing a 30% cost overrun." Miles's pulse hammered. "Those numbers are fabricated. My budget's locked at $2 million under by 5%. Henry sighed, pulling a folder from his desk. "Wade's consultants disagree. They say your recipes are cutting corners, risking quality. The board's worried about your stability." Stability. The word hit like a punch. Miles saw Clara's hand in this, her late-night whispers to Henry, painting him as unhinged. "What's the play, Dad? You stripping me of CEO?" Henry's eyes dropped. "Not yet, but Wade's taking lead on operations, effective Monday. You'll stay on for optics, but he's pushing for full control by year-end." Miles's voice was steel. "And you're siding with him, no questions asked?" Henry hesitated. "We've seen changes, Miles. You're distant, short-tempered. Clara's worried too." Clara. Her name burned. Confirmation of her alliance with Wade. Miles stormed to the porch, the Blue Ridge Mountains looming under a starless sky. His phone buzzed. Quinn Adler, his PI. "Miles, preliminary findings. Clara and Wade opened a joint account 6 months ago, siphoning $200,000 from brewery funds. Wade's been meeting your head brewer, tampering with recipes to spike costs." Miles' blood ran cold. This wasn't just an affair. It was a heist. Quinn added, "There's more. Lila's been texting Wade, cryptic stuff about helping the family. I'm digging deeper." Lila? Miles' heart sank. His daughter, his artist, caught in their web? Back inside, Wade was laughing with Nora, his hand grazing her shoulder. Miles caught Jasper watching, his son's jaw tight, sensing the shift. "Dad, something's off with Uncle Wade," Jasper whispered, pulling Miles aside. "He asked me to back his new vision for the brewery, said you're holding it back." Miles's chest tightened. Wade was recruiting his own son. He scanned the room for Lila, finding her by the fireplace, phone in hand, typing furiously. Her eyes met his, then darted away, guilt flashing like a neon sign. Henry called for a family meeting, guests gone, the dining room now a tribunal. "Miles, we've decided to restructure the family trust," Henry announced, Nora nodding solemnly. "Given your challenges, Wade will inherit controlling shares. It's best for Blue Ridge Brews." Miles's voice was low, dangerous. "Challenges? You mean the lies Wade's fed you?" Wade leaned forward, eyes glinting. "Face it, Miles. You're burning out. The board sees it. Clara sees it. Hell, even Lila's worried you're losing it." Lila flinched, her fingers twisting her bracelet, but she stayed silent. Miles's gaze locked on his daughter. "Lila, is that true?" She bit her lip, voice barely a whisper. "Dad, I just want what's best." The betrayal cut deeper than Clara's affair. Jasper, stunned, grabbed Lila's arm. "What are you saying? Dad's fine," Nora interjected. "Jasper, stay out of this. Your father's been reckless." Miles saw the script. Clara and Wade had poisoned his parents, now his daughter, to seize the brewery and bury him. As the meeting dissolved, Miles pulled Jasper outside, rain starting to fall. "Jasper, they're coming for everything. Brewery, family, my name. I need you with me." Jasper's eyes burned. "I'm in, Dad. Whatever it takes." Miles nodded, but Lila's silence gnawed at him. Was she a pawn or a player? Quinn's next text lit up his phone. Found emails. "Clara's pushing a psych eval for you. Claims you're paranoid. Wade's bribing a board member. Festival's their deadline." Miles stared at the brewery's logo across town, its glow dimmed by rain. The festival wasn't just a celebration. It was their endgame. Clara and Wade weren't content with his heart. They wanted his legacy. Henry and Nora, blinded by Wade's charm, were complicit. Lila's role, still murky, was a dagger twisting in his side. Miles clenched his fists, rain soaking his jacket. He'd brew a counterattack, bitter and precise, to expose their conspiracy before the festival's final toast. Miles Thornton sat in his F-150 outside Blue Ridge Brews at dawn, the Asheville skyline gray under a drizzle, the brewery's logo a faint pulse in the mist. Sleep had eluded him since the Montford dinner, where Henry S. Trust Restructuring and Lila S. whispered betrayal, "I just want what S. best," had turned his world to ash. Wade's smirk, Clara's absence, and Quinn's bombshell about their $200,000 theft, and Lila E.'s text to Wade churned in his mind. The Harvest Festival, now hours away, wasn't a celebration but a deadline. Clara and Wade E.'s plan to oust him as CEO and lock him in a psych eval loomed like a guillotine. Miles gripped his coffee thermos, its heat grounding him as he dialed Quinn Adler. "Talk to me, Quinn. What's new?" Quinn's voice crackled through the Bluetooth. "Miles, it's worse than we thought. Clara and Wade's joint account isn't just skimming, it's a funnel. They've diverted $450,000 from brewery marketing funds over 9 months, routing it through a shell company, Peak Horizon LLC. Wade's signatures on every transfer." Miles's jaw tightened. Peak Horizon, a nod to Wade's Peak Pulse firm, a taunt hidden in plain sight. "There's more," Quinn continued. "I hacked Clara's gallery email. She's been coordinating with a Dr. Evelyn Marsh, a psychiatrist in Charlotte, to draft a report claiming you're paranoid, unfit to lead. They're pitching it to the board tomorrow post-festival." Miles's blood boiled, but Quinn wasn't done. "Lila's texts to Wade are vague. I'll do what you asked. Family comes first. But she met him at a coffee shop in West Asheville last week. I've got photos." Photos. Lila, his daughter, conspiring with Wade. Miles' chest ached, but he pushed it down. "Get me hard proof, Quinn. Bank records, emails, timestamps. And tail Lila today. Find out what she's hiding." He hung up, staring at the brewery's fermenters through the rain-streaked windshield. The place he'd built, now a battleground. His phone pinged. Owen Pratt, his attorney. "Miles, audit's done. Your personal assets are clean, but the brewery's books are a mess. Someone's inflated supplier costs by 20%, tanking your Raleigh budget. I've got a forensic accountant ready, but we need your go-ahead." Miles texted back, "Do it. Rush the report for tonight." Jasper knocked on the truck window, startling Miles. His son's face was pale, eyes bloodshot. "Dad, I couldn't sleep. Lila's acting weird. She was on her phone at 3 a.m., whispering about fixing things. I think she's in deep with Wade." Miles's heart sank, but Jasper's loyalty was a lifeline. "I confronted her," Jasper added, "but she shut me out, said I wouldn't understand. What's going on?" Miles hesitated, then handed Jasper his phone, showing Quinn's text about Lila's coffee shop meeting. Jasper's fists clenched. "She's my sister, but this—" "Dad, let me help. I know the brewery systems. I can check the servers for tampering." Miles nodded, pride cutting through his dread. "Do it, son. But stay quiet. We're running out of time." Miles headed to the brewery, the tap room empty save for Tessa, his assistant, prepping for the festival. Her usual cheer was gone, her eyes darting nervously. "Miles, I overheard Wade last night on the phone. He mentioned locking you out and Marsh's report. I didn't know what to do." Miles's pulse spiked. Dr. Marsh again. "Tessa, record anything you hear today. Send it to me, no one else." She nodded, slipping him a USB drive. "This is from the security server. Wade accessed it last week, deleted some files. I backed it up first." Miles pocketed it, a spark of hope amid the chaos. At his office, Miles plugged in the USB. Grainy footage showed Wade in the brewery's lab, tampering with fermenter logs, altering recipe data to inflate costs. Another clip caught Clara in the parking lot, handing Wade a folder stamped Peak Horizon. Miles' hands shook. This was the evidence he needed. He emailed it to Owen with a note. "File for an emergency injunction. Stop Wade's board vote." Quinn called back, voice urgent. "Miles, jackpot. Bank records confirm $450,000 to Peak Horizon, plus a $50,000 wire to Dr. Marsh's clinic. And Lila, she's at the festival grounds now meeting Wade. I'm sending you live footage. Miles opened the link on his phone. Lila, in a navy coat, stood by a festival tent, passing Wade a small envelope. Her face was tense, lips pressed tight, unlike Wade's smug grin. Was she coerced or complicit? Miles couldn't tell, but the sight gutted him. Jasper burst in, laptop in hand. "Dad, I found it." Wade hacked the supplier portal, faked invoices to sabotage Raleigh. "I've got the IP address, timestamps, everything." Miles clapped his son's shoulder. "Good work. Send it to Owen." Owen called, his tone sharp. "Miles, the evidence is solid. Fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. I can freeze Peak Horizon's accounts and subpoena Marsh's report, but we need to act at the festival. Wade's pitching his takeover to investors there." Miles's mind raced. The festival, packed with Asheville's elite, was Wade's stage, and Miles's chance to strike. He texted Quinn, "Get me Clara's emails with Marsh, all of them." Then he turned to Jasper. "Get to the festival grounds. Watch Lila, but don't confront her. I need to know her next move." As Miles loaded the USB and Jasper's data onto a secure drive, rain tapped the office window. Asheville's mountains shrouded in fog. Clara and Wade thought they'd cornered him, with Henry and Nora's blessing and Lila's help. But every email, every clip, every fake invoice was a bullet in Miles's arsenal. The festival's opening toast was hours away, and Miles Thornton was no longer the hunted. He was the hunter, ready to expose their lies under Asheville's spotlight. The Harvest Festival pulsed with life at Asheville's Pack Square, string lights weaving through tents where Blue Ridge Brews' oak-aged stout flowed freely, and fiddles hummed over the chatter of locals and tourists. Miles Thornton stood at the edge of the main stage, his navy blazer damp from drizzle, heart hammering as he scanned the crowd. Clara, in a crimson dress, mingled with gallery donors, her laughter a blade to his chest. Wade, all charm in a gray suit, glad-handed investors, his eyes glinting with victory. Henry and Nora held court near the brewery's booth, their smiles masking the trust restructuring they'd endorsed. Jasper lingered by the sound booth, his nod to Miles a silent vow of support. Lila, in her navy coat, hovered near Clara, her face pale, the envelope she'd given Wade at dawn burning in Miles' mind. The festival's opening toast loomed, Wade's moment to pitch his CEO takeover to the board and investors. Miles clutched a flash drive, Quinn's bank records, Tessa's USB footage, Jasper's fake invoices, Owen's injunction draft, his arsenal to dismantle their conspiracy. Quin's final text had landed minutes ago. Clara AS emails to Marsh confirm $50,000 for a fake psych eval. Lila's envelope held gallery sale records, doctored to hide Peak Horizon funds. She's scared, Miles, might be coerced. Lila, coerced. The thought sparked hope, but Miles steeled himself. Truth first, then family. As Wade stepped to the stage, microphone in hand, the crowd hushed. "Friends, Blue Ridge Brews is at a crossroads," he began, voice smooth. "Our Raleigh expansion demands bold leadership. I'm ready to steer us forward." Applause rippled, but Miles strode forward, cutting through the crowd, Jasper trailing with a laptop. "Not so fast, Wade," Miles said, voice carrying over the speakers as he plugged the flash drive into the stage projector. Gasps rose as bank records flashed on screen. $450,000 siphoned to Peak Horizon LLC, Wade's signature stark. "This is your leadership," Miles said, clicking to Tessa's footage. Wade tampering with fermenter logs, Clara handing him Peak Horizon files. The crowd stirred, investors whispering. Wade's smile faltered. "This is a misunderstanding," he stammered, but Miles pressed on, showing Clara's emails to Dr. Marsh. "Ensure the report says paranoid, unfit." Clara's face drained, her donors stepping back. Henry's jaw dropped, Nora clutching his arm. Miles turned to the board members in the front row. Wade and Clara stole $450,000, faked costs to sabotage Raleigh, and planned to lock me in a psych ward to seize control. He played Jasper's data, fake invoices, Wade's IP address. "My son uncovered this. Your bold leader is a thief." Wade lunged for the laptop, but Jasper blocked him, eyes fierce. Eyes. "Back off, Uncle Wade!" The crowd roared, some cheering, others stunned. Clara rushed the stage, voice shrill. "Miles, you're twisting everything. I was protecting the brewery." Miles faced her, pain raw. "Protecting it by stealing? By betraying me?" Lila broke through, tears streaming. "Dad, stop! I gave Wade those records to help you." Miles froze. "Help me?" Lila's voice cracked. "Wade said if I didn't, he'd ruin Jasper's internship. Ruin us. I faked the gallery sales to expose Peak Horizon. I'm sorry." The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Lila, not a traitor, but a pawn. Her envelope a desperate bid to save them. Miles pulled her close, his anger at Wade surging. Henry stormed the stage, face red. "Miles, is this true?" Miles nodded, handing him Owen's injunction papers. "Every word. I'm filing to freeze their accounts and remove Wade from the board." Nora sobbed. "Wade, how could you?" Wade's charm crumbled, his shout desperate. "You're all buying his lies. Miles is the problem." But the board chair, a grizzled brewer, stood. "We've seen enough. Wade, you're suspended pending investigation." Investors swarmed Miles, demanding answers, as Clara fled into the crowd, her crimson dress a fading streak. Lila clung to Miles, Jasper at her side, their family fractured but defiant. Henry's voice trembled. "Son, we were wrong." Miles met his gaze, hard. "You backed the wrong man, Dad. We'll talk later." The festival's music resumed, but the air crackled with scandal. Asheville's elite buzzing. Owen texted. "Injunction filed. Marsh subpoenaed. You've got them." Miles stood with his kids, the brewery's logo glowing behind them, its light reclaimed. Clara and Wade's lies lay exposed, their conspiracy gutted under Pack Square's lights. But Lila's tears and Henry's regret were wounds unhealed, and Jasper's tight grip hinted at secrets still buried. The festival's final toast rang out, but Miles knew the real battle, rebuilding his family and legacy, was just beginning. Miles Thornton sat in Owen Pratt's Asheville law office, the November chill seeping through the window, a week after the Harvest Festival's explosive showdown. The brewery's logo, framed on the wall, felt like a relic of a life unraveling. Clara had vanished post-festival, her crimson dress a ghost in Miles's memory. Her gallery shuttered, phone off. Wade, suspended from Blue Ridge Brews board, had retaliated with a defamation lawsuit, claiming Miles's stage reveal was a malicious fabrication. Henry and Nora, humbled by their misjudgment, had offered apologies, but their trust restructuring lingered like a bruise. Lila, racked with guilt over her coerced role, barely spoke, while Jasper's tight grip at the festival, his eyes hiding something, gnawed at Miles. Owen's injunction had frozen Peak Horizon's accounts, but the legal war was just beginning. Owen slid a file across the desk, his face grim. "Miles, we've got Dr. Marsh's subpoenaed report. $50,000 for a fake psych eval, as you said. Bank records and Tessa's footage are airtight, but Wade's countersuit alleges you doctored the evidence. He's hired a Charlotte firm, deep pockets." Miles's jaw clenched. "He's bluffing. Jasper's invoices and Quinn's emails bury him." Owen nodded. "True, but Wade's claiming Lila's gallery records, her envelope, were your forgery, not hers. We need her testimony to lock this down." Miles hesitated. Lila, fragile since her festival confession, might crack under cross-examination. "Let me talk to her first," he said, dread pooling in his gut. At the Montfort estate, Lila sat by the fireplace, sketching, her hands trembling. "Dad, I can't face a courtroom," she whispered. "Wade scared me into that envelope. I thought I was saving us." Miles knelt, voice soft. "Lila, you were brave. Your records expose Peak Horizon. Testifying can end this." She shook her head, tears falling. "What if they twist it? Make me the liar?" Miles hugged her, but her fear echoed his own. Wade's legal team was ruthless. Henry, entering, cleared his throat. "Miles, we're meeting the board tomorrow to reinstate you as CEO. Nora and we're sorry. We believed Wade's lies." Miles nodded, his anger thawing, but not gone. "Actions, Dad, not words. Back me in court." Jasper burst in, laptop under arm, his face alight with urgency. "Dad, you need to see this." In the study, he played a grainy audio file, recorded weeks ago at the brewery. Wade's voice hissed, "Clara, once Marsh's report lands, Miles is done. We'll split the brewery 60-40 after Raleigh tanks." Clara's laugh followed. "And Lila's records will seal it. She's too scared to talk." Miles's blood ran cold. Proof of their conspiracy, straight from their mouths. "Jasper, where'd you get this?" Jasper's eyes dropped. "I bugged Wade's office. After you showed me Quinn's texts, I didn't trust him. I kept it quiet in case Lila was involved." Miles's pride battled his shock. Jasper, his quiet son, had outmaneuvered Wade. "This changes everything," Miles said, emailing the audio to Owen. "Owen, file this with the judge. It's our kill shot." Owen called back, voice electric. "This buries Wade and Clara. I'm amending our suit. Fraud, conspiracy, extortion. But Jasper needs to testify about the recording. It's admissible, but they'll attack his credibility." Miles glanced at Jasper, who nodded, resolute. "I'm ready, Dad. For you. For Lila." Later, Miles met Quinn at a West Asheville diner. The neon buzz a stark contrast to his racing thoughts. "Miles, Clara's in Raleigh," Quinn said, sliding over a photo of her at a hotel bar. "She's meeting Wade's lawyer. They're planning to smear Lila as unstable, push the forgery angle." Miles's fists clenched. "Keep tabs on her and dig into Wade's firm, any dirt on his clients." Quinn nodded, adding, "Lila's clean, but her text to Wade stopped after the festival. She's loyal, Miles, just scared." Back home, Miles found Nora in the kitchen, her eyes red. "Miles, I've failed you. We pushed Wade, ignored your warnings." Miles softened. "Mom, help Lila through this. She needs you." Nora nodded, a fragile bridge forming. But Jasper's secret recording, now with Owen, was a ticking bomb. Wade's lawsuit loomed, and Clara's absence hinted at a deeper play. The brewery's board meeting and court date were days away, Asheville's gossip still swirling from the festival. Miles stood on the porch, mountains dark against the sky, his family splintered but rallying. Jasper's audio was their ace, but its price, exposing his son to Wade's wrath, kept Miles awake, the fight for Blue Ridge Brews and his kids far from over. The Asheville courthouse loomed over Haywood Street, its stone facade cold under a December sky, 2 weeks after the Harvest Festival's fallout. Miles Thornton sat in the packed courtroom, Blue Ridge Brews' legacy on trial. Wade, in a tailored suit, sat with his Charlotte lawyers, his smirk defiant despite the board's reinstatement of Miles as CEO. Clara, absent since Raleigh, shocked Miles by appearing beside Wade, her eyes hollow, crimson scarf a nod to her festival dress. Lila, beside Miles, gripped his hand, her testimony looming. Jasper, in a blazer, sat behind Owen Pratt, his secret audio, the brewery bug, ready to tip the scales. Henry and Nora in the gallery watched with bated breath, their amends tested today. Owen stood, voice steady, addressing Judge Harlan Cobb. "Your Honor, Wade Garrett and Clara Thornton orchestrated a $450,000 fraud through Peak Horizon LLC, sabotaged our Raleigh expansion, and conspired to falsely deem Miles Thornton unfit via Dr. Marsh's report. He presented bank records, Tessa's footage, and Jasper's invoices, each slide a hammer blow. Wade's lead counsel, Diane Voss, countered sharply. This evidence is fabricated. Mr. Thornton's festival stunt was defamation, and Lila Thornton's gallery records, her envelope, were his forgery. Lila flinched, but Miles squeezed her hand, whispering, "You're stronger than them." Owen called Lila to the stand. Her voice trembled but grew firm. "Wade pressured me to doctor gallery sales to hide Peak Horizon funds. I did it to protect Jasper's internship, our family. But I gave him those records to expose him, not help him." Voss pounced, voice icy. "You're unstable, Ms. Thornton, coerced by your father to lie." Lila's eyes blazed. "I was scared, not unstable. Wade threatened us." The gallery murmured, Judge Cobb's gavel silencing them. Miles's chest swelled. Lila's courage was their shield. Jasper took the stand next, his voice clear. I recorded Wade and Clara in his brewery office, suspecting their lies. Owen played the audio, Wade's hiss. Miles is done, 60-40 split. And Clara's laugh. Lila's too scared. The courtroom erupted, Voss objecting. This recording's illegal, Owen countered. It's admissible. Jasper had access as an intern, no expectation of privacy. Judge Cobb allowed it, Wade's smirk vanishing. Jasper faced Voss's grilling. You're a kid, tampering with evidence, but held firm. I protected my dad, my family, that's the truth. Miles's pride burned, Jasper's quiet heroism deafening. Clara, called by Voss, stunned the court. Miles manipulated Lila and Jasper, she claimed, voice brittle. I acted to save the brewery from his recklessness. Miles stared, her betrayal final. Owen's cross-examination was surgical. Mrs. Thornton, did you pay Dr. Marsh $50,000 for a false report? Clara faltered. I consulted her for Miles's health. Owen displayed her emails. Ensure paranoid. Unfit. Clara's composure cracked, the gallery gasping. Wade shouted, She's lying! But his lawyers restrained him. His desperation bared. Quinn in the gallery slipped Miles a note. Wade's firm lost 2 clients post-festival. He's broke, pushing all in. Miles nodded, sensing the endgame. Judge Cobb recessed for deliberation, the courtroom buzzing. Lila hugged Jasper, whispering, You saved us. Henry approached Miles, voice low. Son, we're proud. We'll rebuild together. Nora's tearful nod sealed it, their family's fracture mending. Cobb returned, his ruling swift. The evidence, bank records, footage, audio, and testimony, proves fraud, conspiracy, and extortion by Wade Garrett and Clara Thornton. Their countersuit is dismissed. I award Blue Ridge Brews $450,000 in damages, with criminal charges pending. Wade slumped, Clara staring blankly. Their empire dust. The gallery cheered, Asheville's gossip mill churning anew. Miles stood with Lila and Jasper outside, the brewery's future secure, their bond reforged in fire. Clara's hollow gaze as she left haunted him, but her lies were buried. Wade's legal team scrambled, but his downfall was sealed. Henry and Nora joined them, a fragile unity forming. Jasper's audio had won the day, but his quiet glance at Lila hinted at unspoken scars. The mountains loomed beyond, Asheville's pulse steady, but Miles knew healing their family would be the final trial, one no courtroom could resolve. The Blue Ridge Brews taproom shimmered under April 2025's warm glow, Asheville's mountains cradling the skyline. The relaunch party buzzed. Locals savored hazy IPAs, fiddle tunes blending with chatter, a world away from the courtroom's tension months ago. Miles Thornton leaned against the bar, flannel sleeves rolled, watching Lila orchestrate an art exhibit across the taproom's brick walls. Her paintings, alive with Asheville's rivers and peaks, sparked whispers among brewery guests. Jasper, now a full-time intern, hauled kegs with steady hands, his calm a stark shift from the weight he'd carried. Henry and Nora chatted with board members, their smiles reflecting pride in Miles's leadership, their past doubts buried. Clara's absence hung quietly, her divorce finalized weeks ago, Wade's prison sentence locked in days earlier. Miles poured a stout, his thoughts drifting. The legal battle had saved the brewery, $450,000 reclaimed, fraud exposed. But the wounds remained. Lila's fear, Jasper's hidden risks, his own shattered trust. A letter from Clara had arrived yesterday, her words begging forgiveness. I lost my way, Miles. I'm sorry. He'd burned it, her courtroom silence louder than any plea. Quinn's last update confirmed Wade's appeal had collapsed, his 5-year fraud sentence final, his shell company gone. Asheville's whispers, once sharp, now celebrated Miles' victory, the brewery's neon sign a beacon of renewal. Lila approached, her smile soft but sure. Dad, my main painting. It's for you. She unveiled a canvas, A family split by storm clouds, a brewery glowing at the horizon. "It's us, after everything," she said, voice firm. I painted her betrayal to move on. Miles pulled her close, her courage echoing the strength she'd shown in court. "You've carried us, Lila," he said, his throat tight. The crowd applauded, sensing the art's depth, and Henry's nod, eyes wet, sealed their family's mended bond. Jasper stepped over, his voice low. "Dad, I still feel off about what I did, bugging that office. It helped, but it wasn't clean." Miles rested a hand on his shoulder. "You kept us safe, Jasper. That's what matters." Jasper's gaze, once heavy, eased, his choice to stay at the brewery a vow to their future. "This place is home," he said, and Miles's chest warmed, their trust rebuilt. Nora waved them to a backroom dinner, the table laden with stout braised ribs, a family tradition revived. Henry lifted a glass. "To Miles, Lila, Jasper, our core. To Blue Ridge Brews, standing tall." Glasses clinked, laughter rising, though Miles caught Lila and Jasper's shared glance, a quiet acknowledgement of their shared pain. The taproom's hum pulsed beyond, Asheville's rhythm alive. A guest murmured of Wade's fall. Clara's gallery sold to outsiders, their names fading from the city's pulse. Miles stepped outside, mountain air sharp and clear. The brewery's sign glowed steady, a light reclaimed. Clara's lies, Wade's schemes, and the court's fire had nearly broken them, but Lila's art, Jasper's resolve, and Henry's faith had pieced them back. The family wasn't perfect, scars stayed, but it was enough. Miles smiled, the taproom's warmth behind him, Asheville's future his to build, the past a shadow left behind.